I'm really interested to see where they want to play because we saw Bank from Valkyries when they were doing their community stream game, and will that survive the map pool? That is remains to be seen. Coastline seems to be an auto ban for most of the league, though. I'm kind of sad that we're not going to be seeing that newly remodeled map, but nonetheless, it's been taken off the board.
Yeah, it seems that with it still kind of being frag heavy, especially with those bars taken off, that teams just don't really want to mess around with it. And if I'm counting correctly, it seems that we are going to be going on over to Villa. Yes, I am correct. I know my Rainbow Six maps. I'd hope there's only 7, but the Italian countryside, very very popular spot for a lot of these teams. And I think a big reason why is it kind of is once again a little bit of the middle of the ground, like we talked about with Clubhouse. It's got basically 2 floors, 2 sites each, very roam heavy map, very utility heavy map, but it still is very, very important on those frags, especially when you're trying to get through these choke points.
Yeah, what we were watching earlier in the other two matchups that happened on Villa is there is a lot of just aggression onto the roamers that has to be brought to the board. We saw Tex excelling on the Mozzie role or the Mozzie slash Rooney role, depending on what she was bringing to the board at that round. But the whole, I guess, offensive sided take kind of starts on the opposite side of the map, and the roam game has to be super intelligent between these two teams. Otherwise, you're just going to get run rampant on. That's something that I saw in our last matchup, and I'm expecting that to stay true in this final game.
Yeah, and with the roam going to be extremely important. Whoever each of these sides pick to kind of be that primary roamer is going to be so extremely important. And we are going to be all ready to jump right on into this map. It's going to be very, very exciting. Obviously, very, very important, especially as these weeks start to whittle away down. We're getting to the real climax of the season. But these ban phase, Villa is a little different when it comes to bans. Sometimes you might not see the typical bands. Usually will still see a Thatcher, but instead it's going to be Flores going down first.
So they're leaving Thatcher in the arms of Jarrison fan club, leaving his fate in their sort of place. And Flores, well, he accomplishes the same job as Thatcher does, obviously being able to clear out the utility, maybe in a bit of a more explosive manner because Thatcher only disables everything. Flores does the exact opposite. He's going to run rampant with those Rotero drones and say, hey, if you had bandit batteries on this wall, no, you didn't. You never did. Now we're going to see the Cade being banned out from the Jarrison fan club. So those Electro Claws, well, they're not going to be a factor. And that takes away from the flexibility that Valkyries are going to have on this defense, right? They don't, or they're going to be forced into a position where they may have to bandit trick, or maybe they're going to put mute devices down as well. Mira is going to be that final ban, taking away from that information. And, well, Jarrison fan club, they're not going to have to worry about those one-way bullets or those one-way holes, but at the same way, or at the same sort of token, right? That spells a lot of danger for them if they're not going to be able to deal with someone like a Valkyrie, which I'm expecting to see.
There's not just one Valkyrie Santos, there's 5
There's
Valkyries.
5 Valkyries. Ugh.
Yeah, obviously. Now
Boo.
is that Valkyrie squared? Would we count that as Valkyrie squared if Ancient
Well,
One is
what?
bringing out the Valkyrie?
I mean, there are 5 Valkyries, but Valk is playing. But the Valkyrie player is playing on the Valk. No, you ruined it. Ancient
The
One, no.
vibe has been thrown off.
Crying,
Unacceptable.
crying in the club here, Light Rose. I'm crying in the proverbial club. I just want to curl up into a ball and just leave.
I do want to know what is the goal in swapping from the Valkyrie, showing the Valkyrie, and then swapping on over to the Goyo? Is that to try to bait Jarrison fan club to possibly go on an IQ, lose some utility? Or overall, was that just like, haha, maybe we'll run Valkyrie, you never know. Because, with Valkyrie being banned so often, a lot of times teams just can't force her into their comp because you lose something by bringing the Valkyrie, but you also gain something because you're bringing Valkyrie. So it's a little bit of risk-reward depending on the type of team that you are, but obviously Goyo being the better choice for Valkyries, or at least they seem to believe so.
they're getting a lot here, right? Because the Goyo allows you to really control these different areas. You're seeing that deployable shield. I'm not 100% sure if it's a Goyo shield on top of the brown stairs. You're also seeing Ancient One attempting to put the Vulcan shield on top of the sort of map display there as well. So, yeah, again, this Goyo brings a lot to the table, right? That Vector is absolutely insane too in terms of its fire rate and just ability to do so much damage. But overall, I'm seeing a little bit of a one-sided take being brought here from Jarrison, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because they know that someone's sitting on the top of these stairs. Velociraptor just walks up for free. Val wasn't expecting a thing, and Jarrison Fan Club opened things up early. We can't seem to avoid these early kills here, like Rose.
Yeah, but I think that is definitely not in part to Valkyrie. It's just Velociraptor was all ready and geared to go just to try to take on and take advantage of the possible late setup coming out from Valkyries, and it definitely seemed to work out. But Meg using that frag grenade and taking out Zeal, so they still have 2 C4s in their pocket. No smoke canisters to work with, but now as Meg uses the second frag grenade, that's what you call consistency at that point, and a flawless round for Jarrison Fan Club. And that flawless really means something. It seems that things just clicked immediately for them.
That flawless happened at the blink of an eye too. Like I snapped my finger, and I swear that flawless happened out from Jarrison Fan Club, and it all started from Velociraptor just throwing a wrench into what Valkyries had planned, right? Because Val in that smoke was just thinking that she was going to sit there on the top of the brown stairs and force things through study and eventually have that crossfire for when people push on through. But what was disturbing about that round, right, is that most of Valkyries were sitting on the site. Like they were sitting in relatively good positions to stop that fast-paced push in its tracks. But well, if Jarrison Fan Club are going to switch on over to the other side, meaning they're going to try and take from study and not necessarily play with that sort of pace, we could see Valkyries thrown for a loop here.
Could we expect, at least for this round, would it be better to bring a sort of extension? Somebody to be prepared for what Velociraptor is ready to bring out, and the goal is that they would be more prepared for it this time. The Jaeger ADSs seem to be very, very important because Meg, the only frag player on the team currently, at least in this operator lineup, got 2 kills with 2 frag grenades. And that I think is showing that Jarrison Fan Club or Meg just knows where the positioning is. Their droning is either on point or just those frag grenades. Just the Valkyries got magnets in them. That seems to be the 2 viable options at this point.
I mean, those Jaeger ADSs might not even make a difference at the end of the day, right? Because Meg, she found those 2 kills oh so effortlessly. And what that tells me is that she has a mastery of the frag grenades as well, which means, she could potentially just go down below and uproot any of the anchors that are sitting there for Valkyries. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Jarrison looking for a take from the side of Trophy, and Velociraptor showing us that sort of pace that she loves to play at as well. Mine has the crossfire from the 90 window as well, and that is a lot of map control being forgiven or being taken by Jarrison Fan Club without Valkyries pretty much having any sort of word about it. But with Bear kind of lurking around towards the side, she could potentially get a kill if the flank watch isn't careful.
Flank watch needs to be very, very careful because Bear's being super sneaky, and if my eyes do not see me, they're on a drone, but they peek just a little bit, and Bear's not going to deal the damage, but not going to take any damage, and instead it's Jarrison Fan Club once again finding themselves in the kill feed, and it's just Mine walking straight into sight, finding 3, going for the ace. The Lion Skin's going to stop Deal right dead in their tracks, and they're going to escape just for a little bit. No, it's Mine catching right up against them, and they are on a 4K, on a tear. They want to find this last one, but in the end, it's not going to be the ace. Instead, it's going to be the second flawless round in a row.
That is a disturbing stat because you would expect to have a kill by this point in the game, right? We're 2 going into 3 rounds in, and Valkyries just haven't seemed to have clicked that they're inside of a game right now. Like they haven't join the lobby. And it's a brutal way to say it, right? But I think it's a little bit accurate considering that, well, that 0 that they have in the round count also correlates to how many kills that they've been able to pick up, and that is disastrous. So they're going to head back on over the trophy, finally conceding that AVG isn't going to work at this point in time. But judging by the last 2 rounds, this switch up has to be more than just a sight. Otherwise, Jarrison's just going to run straight through him again.
Defenders, protect your
Is Jarrison, is that kind of what the inevitable outcome is? The switch to trophy statuary, along with a couple switches on operator picks, and that mainly be the Echo, that is really the big thing when it comes down to Echo punishes, I think, slow players who aren't really aware of their surroundings. And that's not exactly what Jarrison Fan Club are. We've seen in these last 2 rounds, they've been extremely quick on the draw, and they've been very acute with any exploitations that Valkyries really plays around them. But I think this Echo drone could supply some very, very good plays, especially you can see Ancient One trying to get a pretty good little play there. Yeah, the Yokai, I haven't seen that before. That one's pretty creative, and especially that one in Astro. That means that if Ancient One is on those cameras and they're able to spot out Jarrison Fan Club, possibly whether that is mine, Velociraptor, anybody who's been extremely aggressive, that could definitely benefit them, but they need to find a kill on the board. Still, no kills, 2 flawless rounds, and we're on the 3rd one. If Jarrison Fan Club find a 3rd flawless round, that feels so defeated at that point. It feels like you're the superior club here. And yeah, with mine getting another opening kill onto Zeal, it's feeling rough for Valkyries at this current moment.
Oh, and Psyche was expecting to win that swing too, but unfortunately mine just had the hotter gun in that situation, and the kills are continuing to pull themselves together for Jarrison. Their new coach inside of Crow, who just so happens to be our substitute caster, well, he might want to stick to coaching at this point, but at least Ancient One will finally find a kill before eventually Jarrison will pinch down, and that round was over before we could even start sort of analyzing it. Light Rose, this is just furious pace that we're seeing from the Jarrison Fan Club, and well, there's something to having a coach, right? Because, you know, Crow, obviously he is one of the bigger brains inside of Rainbow Six. He even is a CL caster, but I wasn't expecting this form of dominance right now. This is absolutely brutal. And Valkyries, well, Ancient One found one of the answers, but unfortunately they had 5 more to find.
We're going for Villa speedrun any percent at this point. These rounds have just gone so quickly. Jarrison Fan Club essentially finds 1 kill, and then the floodgates just burst open, and we see just all of the deaths of Valkyries just tumble right on 4. Still no changes when it comes to operators, but that definitely doesn't feel like it's an operator pick, a utility pick. It just feels like Jarrison Fan Club are able to just walk right on over. And is there anything that you can exactly deduce from what Valkyries are doing that is allowing Jarrison to absolutely run circles around them right now?
I have to say it comes down to the lack of refragging, right? Like, Valkyries have been very static in terms of trying to get trades for one another, and I think that's exactly what I need to see from them, right? As soon as you shut down one of these players on the Jarrison Fan Club, maybe you can start stringing things together and turning that into a round win. But right now, that just doesn't seem to be the case. And let me tell you why. It's because Valk are playing in these very isolated positions where you can't get a second swing off without putting yourself in a compromising position. There aren't any crossfires being established, and Jarrison Fan Club are just running through and showing off their gun scale, to be completely honest with you, Light Rose. It's been tough to watch from the Valkyries because I know how much potential that they have as a team, and they also have a pretty big brain coach of their own. But right now, it just hasn't clicked for them here on Villa.
And the opening frag still has just gone to Jarrison every single time, and Velociraptor are gonna be able to get through unnoticed. But here's the real challenge: some barbed wire. The Yokai drone should be able to spot them if they want to go up those astro stairs. There is just a lot of flashes being thrown out by Jarrison Fan Club as Kato might be peeking around this bathroom wall, but the ADS is going to zap that flashbang, so Kato's going to be very, very smart and not try to peek that one, try not to be the opening death when it comes to this game, as Velociraptor's going to sneak up the stairs and find a free kill onto Bear. No cameras in position to really spot them out. They are going to get staggered drunk and walk straight into the line of fire of Valk. Yeah, that's your teammate, Ancient One. You don't want to fire. There's the Ancient One, finds a second, whips out the bearing 9 and tries to prepare for Meg, walking right around the corner, as we might have an even man count. Perhaps Valkyries, yes, now they are going to be up in terms of man count, but definitely not in health, and they need to play very, very carefully because this is their biggest chance of winning this entire round.
The discipline has to be there from Zeal, Ancient One, and Psyche. They have the information necessary to make these calls. They know that Meg is inside of the bathroom, but with that Lion E1D coming out, that could potentially spell a lot of danger, especially for Psyche, who just wasn't able to shoot back in that gunfight. The flicks are coming through from Meg as well. They know that, well, Zeal playing protected behind this deployable shield, but they have to just pinch onto her. They have to force her into a place where she has to win one gunfight, then flick onto another. But meanwhile, while she's in that gunfight, Kato is going to start planning this diffuser. The nitro cell unfortunately won't land out either, and Kato could potentially get this plant down, but not a kill, not anytime sooner could that kill have come through. That's Val there with a huge one, and they know that Kato is sitting in this position. They have to go for the frags at this point, but Ancient One's just sitting down below. She can sit on those Echo drones, those yokais, for pretty much the rest of the round. But as I say that, the diffuser will get planted, and she has to spring back into action. Val finding the bullets onto Trophy and wins the fight onto Kato as well. We know that Val can go off, and Val Garbage has to win a 1v2 inside of Trophy, and it's a very tough one to win. She'll get shot in the back into the diffuser. All it has to do is be found. A very good retake there from Valkyries, and they're going to put their first round on the board.
Well, it seemed that Ancient One wasn't able to get the yokai stun to stop the diffuser, but in the end, it doesn't matter. Valkyrie's getting a round on the board, and I think at a good pace too. If you're able to get it in round 4, that allows you 2 rounds to, get that 4-2 scoreline that people usually expect, possibly from, certain maps like Villa, or if things continue to go their direction, 3-3, which, considering how they started, would look so good. Especially with a round that close coming after essentially 1 kill for Valkyries in those first 3 rounds. That's a massive improvement overall. And it came in part due to the fact that they did slow down Jarrison Fan Club a little bit. I assumed that Velociraptor finding the kill onto Baron Astro and then immediately swinging out was that overconfidence, but able to slow it down. You get one on the board, and now you just have to win kitchen.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
I thought with Velociraptor opening up that kill onto the top of Astro Stairs, that spelt so much danger for Jarrison, but there was for Valkyries, but there was a lot of just hesitation after they found that kill, and they weren't able to deal with that deployable shield, which, by the way, was still up at the end of the round for Valkyries. That deployable shield provided, I think it was Val's in that situation, just enough cover for her to just play inside a Trophy and be an absolute menace, and Jarrison just couldn't find the utility necessary to deal with it. And they've got to do a little bit better of a job at just, not depending on the fast pace of play and not depending on their gun power. They still have to get all of these little things right, and it all starts with the utility flare.
Of course, and kitchen is a very, very, I think, more rush-heavy site. We see a lot more rushes, I think, on kitchen than most sites on most map, and I don't know exactly why is it positioning due to the a little bit more wide-open nature, the laundry room being directly next to the site. Who knows? We do see Mine a little bit on their own on the west side, trying to hop into Kochek to possibly get an early frag, and they're going to go right on to try to be a little sneaky, but as you can see by the tracers, they have been found out, and that means they're going to have to be a lot more cautious in entering wherever they may need, but obviously they are going to need some help, and it might come from this vertical side.
That's a little bit of desynchronization there from mine too. She has to play alone inside the library for a very long time while the rest of Jarrison Fan Club really get things going in terms of like being able to establish this vertical clear. Mine's meanwhile, she's going to rotate in between the red carpet and just try and find one of these openings, but she has a long time to just try and be sitting, right? And that nitro cell could have potentially paid so much dividends there for Valkyries, but unfortunately it will not land on through, and Zeal will swing, not finding the kill, but at least Bear was able to find one of her own.
And if Bear can find the kill on Astro, yep, Mine walking up completely unaware of the Jaeger, hiding the exact same position as last round, and Bear could be the extreme round changer here. That Lion Scan goes on out, and Bear's just going to have to sit perfectly still, and they're going to have to look behind them because it seems the Jarrison Fan Club, they've walked into Astro, walked into Statuary, and Bear finds one! And are they going to find the second one? No, it is going to be Meg ending Bear's reign of terror, and it's going to cost them a lot of health in the process, but just that unawareness might come to hurt Jarrison Fan Club in the end, so it's only going to leave Velociraptor and Meg all alone on that third floor, having to deal with a Pulse who knows their very position. 1 C4 left on the board, it is going to fly out, but just not going to do the damage that really Ancient One wants.
That could be huge, right? Because that nitro cell is no longer available to deny the plant, assuming they're able to get down there. But this vertical play proving to be huge, and that looked weird. But nonetheless, Val is going to fall. Yeah, just roller skates, playing a little bit of hockey inside of Rainbow Six Siege. We're meshing games together here, Light Rose. But Ancient One has an angle onto the door. And what I mean by that is, well, she's sitting inside of a corner. She's being an absolute rat. And, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Velociraptor is going to start this pinch through and gets the kill onto Psyche. All they have to do is find Ancient One, who's still sitting inside of Memo, but unfortunately for Velociraptor, she checks the wrong corner, and Valkyries have 1-2 in a row here, Light Rose, and that is insane considering how they started the game.
Yeah, they're cleaning on up, and I'm very, very proud of them for doing such a thing because they've really halted the momentum of Jarrison Fan Club so abruptly. It seemed like they just stuck a stop sign in front of a rolling boulder, and by some miracle, the boulder decided to stop. Who knows why, but in the end, that boulder decided to stop. So now Valkyries getting 2 rounds, get to go to Aviator Games, a site that they have not been successful on, what I think the last 2 times that they went there. So Jarrison Fan Club, pretty consistent right here, but 4-2 scoreline compared to a 3-3 scoreline. Valkyries would be so pleased with that 3-3 scoreline, especially once those sides swap.
But assuming they get to the 3-3, right, they still have to win out this round, and this bomb site has not been one of the stronger ones for Valkyries, but we have seen just an insane amount of adjusting for them to really be still inside of this matchup, and, you know, all of the credit goes to the players. They're doing absolutely insane, but we still need to figure out how they're going to get Psyche and Zeal going, because those 2 players, whenever they are on their day, just seem to be perfect for each other. Team kill happens, and, well, unfortunately, Bear, who has been one of the more consistent fraggers there for Valkyries, well, she's not going to be present inside of the rest of this round. They're instead going to have to lean on, well, there's no easy way to say this, the 2 players dropping zeros at this point. But Light Rose, I want to ask you a question. What have you seen from Jarrison Fan Club that might allude to why they've dropped these past 2 rounds?
I think it's the fact that it has their confidence has been a little bit of a detriment to them, and my mind keeps going back to the kill in the 4th round with Velociraptor running up Astro Stairs, killing Bear, and then immediately swinging into Trophy and just meeting 2 full members of Valkyries, a deployable shielded yokai drone, and everything in between. And it seems like that has just been kind of the story of these past 2 rounds. They've just been so confident in their ability to get these constant kills that it has, in the end, ended up costing them 2 of these rounds. Right now, the drones have been somewhat useful, but this mute has just been so effective. You saw it right then and there that it's just able to stop anybody from really getting any real entries into the site. But as Loftwasser cleans up Zeal, this might be the round where Jarrison Fan Club starts to get their head on right and gets that 4-2 scoreline before we start to go to the split.
It's dangerous because Val and Psyche are both inside of the vault, and all it takes is one well-placed nade or even getting this wall open to really spell all of their danger. There's only 3 members remaining from Valkyries, and that's through, well, almost a fall of their own, but Ancient One and Val just lining up there for Velociraptor and Mine, and Mine will pick up that final kill as well. So Jarrison Fan Club taking advantage of the mistakes that unfortunately were presented by Valkyries, and they're going to walk away from the split at a 4-2 scoreline. They're going to be back on that defense, and I'm expecting to see maybe that aggression being tempered down a little bit. Maybe they play a little bit more fundamental of the game, but it has to be said, maybe that aggression is working for them a little bit because they've caught Valkyries off guard time and time again. It's when Valkyries have been, gun up, they're saying, hey, they're going to rush into sight, just shoot back, where they've found their success. Unfortunately, that just wasn't the case last round, and being down a player, that certainly didn't help their case.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, they definitely should go on the aggression. Because the defense kind of allows you the ability to place yourself on the map, especially very, very early in the round, that you can absolutely catch your opponent by surprise. And that's something that Jarrison Fan Club have found themselves. They found results from it, and the fact that Velociraptor's finding these drones is only going to make Mines roaming, who has that double-digit margin, and they're well above 1 kill per round, almost to 2 kills per round at this point if they can find a couple more. And that roam is going to be so effective against Valkyries. They have a Jackal, they have a Zero, but that is something that Vigil really can allow you. You can be sneaky against the Zero camps. So depending on how Mine's positioning is, the Jackal can really be ineffective.
They have to do a good job at keeping Bear alive, though. So Bear, I'm expecting her to play in that sort of flexible entry role where she doesn't put herself in an immediate position of danger. She might even just stick around on the map or on the study balcony and just wait for the rest of Jarrison Fan Club to go and peek on into her. But that doesn't seem like it's the case. She is going to be one of those primary entry points, and that can spell a lot of danger, knowing how valuable these right here are. The foot scanning coming out from the Jackal, it's going to force Velociraptor to play back into the site, but I have to say there, Light Rose, that foot scan doesn't really tell you a lot. When you're getting these, when you're getting these scans onto players that are sitting inside the site, you're kind of confirming something that you would have already assumed earlier on, right? You know that someone's going to be playing an anchor, and, well, that just confirms it, doesn't it? Velociraptor playing in a very advantageous, very aggressive position here inside of Study. If the drones aren't there from Valkyries, this could be very dangerous for them.
The goal of those Jackal scans is you don't exactly know whose feet they are. There are different shoot prints for different types of operators, but just not having the ability. But in the end, they won't even need a Jackal scan to find out Mine, and that's a very, very important operator, very, very important person that now is seated over to the bench. And Ancient One still having the ability to take out the floor at their will, and that's going to be very, very important because if Mine was able to find Ancient One, even though there was, there would have been a 1-to-1 frag, they wouldn't have that possible threat of just that Buck who's able to lay siege underneath, take out, as you can see, these electrified bandit batteries, and now that's going to allow Psyche to open this one up. Things are falling in place for Valkyries because Ancient One was alive and Mine taken out. So a minute 10 left. A lot is really being set up, and the execution needs to be there, and they need to be very, very precious with their lives.
Garbage and Kato have to play so well together inside of the situation. With a minute remaining, that's exactly what's going to happen. I even forgot about Velociraptor's existence, but she's going to make sure that I don't do that again. She's picking up kill after kill inside of this round, single-handedly bringing things back in the Jarrison Fan Club's favor. She's going off with that MPX, and Zeal and Val, it's all down to you. She's eventually going to be able to shut down that kill streak coming out from Velociraptor, but unfortunately they weren't accounting for anyone that was playing inside of Study. Val going to take a little bit of damage from this smoke as well and just stand in it. Interesting sort of strategy there. Maybe you wanted to pick off that kill, but unfortunately it didn't present itself. And that smoke grenade, it takes down a lot more damage than you think per tick.
Yes, Smoke may have a mask, but sadly it does not really protect you from things. You'd think that, Thatcher and Sledge would really have some sort of immunity, especially Mute would have some sort of immunity because they have those gas masks. Realism, what is that? We don't really care about it here in Rainbow Six Siege. We've got, zapping cameras, electric clones, whatever. We've far strayed from realism at this point.
Yeah, the realism really was only there during like maybe season 1, but even then, like the way that EMP grenades work, that's kind of questionable as well. If you really think about
I
it.
want to mention that we have like I think back to back. I don't know if Oryx and Oryx would we had Yana, who's like her ability is like
Yeah.
extremely scientific, like throwing out a clone that can duplicate it, that has your exact movements and clothes. And then we just got Oryx who can run. Like two
Like,
opposite ends of the spectrum. Caveman go run, go through wall, and then absolute sciencey nerd over here. It's Rainbow Six at its best.
Nerd. You're an absolute nerd, Light Rose. Oh my god. But
you
yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh, wait, what? Wait, what'd you say? Did you throw shade at me?
No. Okay.
All right, fair enough there, Light Rose. But yeah, it has to be said that, well, Jarrison, they're doing very well, right? And I noticed that Jazz and Crow are both sitting in chat. And well, if you guys want to send me a Jarrison fan club T-shirt, I wouldn't be opposed to it. So if you want to throw one of those things back, I mean, I'm gonna shell out as much as possible here, Light Rose. Okay, I'm a big fan of the mission that Project Eris has kind of brought to the board, and I kind of want a way to represent that no matter where I go. So if you want to throw me a Jarrison fan club T-shirt, people are going to be questioning, why aren't the eyes lined up on the T-shirt or whatever it may be, but I still want one, guys. Like,
Santos,
send one over, please.
Santos, the best way to support Project Eris would be to buy them.
I mean, that's true. That's true. But what if you've kind of
I backed you, and what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do?
Did you shut down my shill?
I've broken down your defenses. You're cornered. You're powerless, and I'm just gonna leave it at that now.
You know what? I'm here for exposure. Okay, I'm paying him back in exposure.
Of course,
there,
the best type of monetization.
That depends on who you're asking.
Yeah, well, going back over to the match, free merch aside from Jarrison Fan Club, we got Valkyries at Jonka's Angels not Valkyries at Jonka's Angels. Oh, running those two together.
That was last game.
Yeah, that was I believe that
was last
first
week
match,
actually.
Valkyries and Jarrison Fan Club. Jarrison Fan Club did win that defensive round, so now they've kind of afforded themselves even more of a cushion. That 5-2 scoreline, 1 round away from match point. What are you expecting from either of these sides, Santos?
You said it yourself, right? You were expecting Jarrison Fan Club to continue that aggression, and that is exactly what Velociraptor showed, just playing inside of 90, being an absolute menace. But something that I'm expecting to see from Valkyries is just cleaning up the little things. I mean, it's all come down to just, small mistakes that have turned into explosive plays. And I was thinking about this during the pre-show, right? Just like these small little mistakes and how small margins Siege affords you are absolutely huge. Like, you can't even call them small mistakes, even though that's like, it's kind of contradicting what I'm saying here. But if you kind of get the point of what I'm trying to say, right? Like, these small mistakes add up and create so many issues for your team. Valkyries need to clean this up, and especially on attack, things cannot go misdrone, and they cannot give away kills for free from these lurking and very aggressive defenders.
We didn't see too much Valkyrie on the side of Valkyrie. Is kind of ironic, but now Velociraptor's really making her to her absolute best. Hiding these cameras, using the Deagle just to create little holes for these black eyes to put in, and also the C4, the MPX. It doesn't really do a lot of damage, but it doesn't have a lot of recoil, and it's got a decent rate of fire. And as we saw last round, Velociraptor's really able to use that to her absolute best. I believe she had a 3-kill round there, and sadly we cannot see the kills anymore because we're on that rehost. So can't talk about high kill numbers. Everybody's equal now.
I mean, we can talk about it. Kind of. Like, we don't have the evidence on screen to prove it anymore, but, like, we know what happened. We know Velociraptor was going huge. Mine was having herself quite a play day as well, just being on that lurker role or just being that sort of entry that Jarrison has brought to the table. Mine has gone absolutely insane, and I think that's something that we haven't really brought a lot of attention to because Velociraptor has had those flashy plays, but we're seeing a lot of explosiveness, a lot of just sudden impact from Jarrison, and Valkyries haven't had the proper response. They haven't been able to get these trades, and everything is sort of exploding in their faces from Jarrison Fan Club.
Yeah, and Valkyrie's not electing to bring any frag grenades as well. We can see a lot of flashbangs, smoke canisters, a secondary hard breach, but no real frag grenades. And on the side of Jarrison Fan Club, they were absolutely able to use frag grenades to their belt. Meg just was able to toss those like they were free money to every single person. And now no frag grenades able to use to their side, but Velociraptor having her own explosion, it's not going to work out. And in the end, they are only going to have 2 left to their name, as Bear's going to do enough damage to down Mine, but the notifications are not on. They're not going to really be able to confirm that. So depending on how far away Mine is going to be able to slither, nope, not quick enough. And eventually they are going to go down to the hands of Bear, because now we don't have the, where, you can steal my kill at this point.
A very unfortunate opening there for Jarrison. Mine was holding there valiantly inside of 90, but that is the biggest sort of crux point to this defense, but that doesn't seem to matter because the smoke of Megdinge picking up that kill onto Bear, unfortunately just something went undroned, or maybe it was a little bit too aggressive of a peek, but Meg taking full advantage of that, knowing that she has full control of the double set of double doors, but Velociraptor gets found on that flank, but Garbage has an answer of her own. We're down to a 3v3 here, Light Rose, and Jarrison Fan Club, I mean, they can sit back on these angles or they can peek out. Garbage almost finding the headshots there, but Valkyries still in plenty position to get this round win.
Yeah, and with those air jabs in plays, they are set up to really deny any roamers. But the roamers really aren't what they have to worry about. All of Jarrison Fan Club are in sight. Garbage, Cattle, Megdinge positioning themselves really to find success. And it's not going to be Garbage who finds the initial kill. It's going to be Ancient One. And that is going to give Valkyries an advantage. Meg has 2 smoke canisters left. Cato has a C4. This could absolutely work out for Jarrison Fan Club if they play their cards right, denying this plan of Psyche, who is the only one on full health. There we go. Diffuser is starting to go down. The C4 gonna look Ancient One right in the face, and it's gonna almost lethal damage. Cato's gonna have to whip out the gun, but it is gonna put down the Diffuser. It's not gonna be quick enough. It's gonna be Cato on full health versus Zeal almost around 50. Cato gonna go straight on in. Zeal gonna find the elbow, but not gonna be there. Through the spray through the wall and the reload. It's not gonna be there. Cato putting Jarrison Fan Club on map and match point after a very, very quick couple of frags and a very, very close defuse.
Defender mission successful.
I thought that wallbang was going to land true. I thought that Valkyries won that round, but unfortunately Cato just winning the battle of the MP7s there. That is an absolutely disgusting way to win that round. What do you mean no one saw that? Everyone saw that. We're sitting on the stream now.
It's a 1v1.
It was a 1v1, and we respect. I guess we respect taking the other side.
Who's
so
not?
Maybe we didn't see that.
But who's not supposed to see that? Like when it's
everyone's gonna look at that.
Exactly.
Jarrison Fan Club on match point. Valkyries still looking for answers, and well, the amount of success that Valkyries have found throughout this season, I mean, it's against teams that you would expect to win against, right? They've beaten Talentless and they beat Tachanka's Angels, but overall, I mean, that's not a shot to those teams either, by the way, but Jarrison Fan Club, I mean, they're kind of putting Valkyries, they're kind of trying to send them back to the end of the table, and they're trying to get their own season going, right? They're currently sitting towards the bottom half of our standings, but this will be 2 wins, or 2 weeks in a row where they've found the wins, and that's definitely a lot of momentum that they can carry forward. Unless Valkyries can respond in a big way here, they have to find 4 rounds straight just to force overtime here, V. And it's tough considering how the other attacks have been going.
Yeah, and it seems that Jarrison fan club's attacks were good,
10
but it
seconds to
feels
go.
like their defenses, they're just able to put it over the finish line where
5 seconds
Valkyries
to go.
cannot find the round win no matter what they do. I mean, last round came down to a
Attackers are moving out
1v1.
to locate a bomb
Zeal
and
actually
defuse it.
almost was able to pull it out through the wall bang. I don't know if it'll be able to contend with the Ice Rocker wall bang that we saw previously, but it was definitely close to enough as they're setting themselves up to try to deny vertical position without actually being up on that set side as Kato caught on the rotate. Gonna take a little bit of damage as Ancient One almost got a free opening pick there, and that could be huge, especially because Kato, after this rehost, are finding the most kills out of everybody so far. C4 gonna be ripped, not gonna get taken out automatically. It's still not gonna be exploded as they still want to keep just in their pocket for now.
Yeah, what you were hearing there was some impact grenades being thrown out there by Kato. It's a very interesting thing to, sort of wonder whether or not you want to bring impacts or the nitro cell on Valkyrie, but that doesn't seem to matter because Meg has been felled inside of the site. She was playing down there with that pulse scanner, just hopefully she was just hoping that she was safe up there, but she was not. In mine, trying to bring the fight back to the Valkyries, but taking a lot of damage from it. Oh, she has the lineup. Question is, will she take the shots? No, she will. Or actually, yes, she will. Val will be felled, and the rest of Valkyries have to try and respond here. Mine staying in this aggressive position, but question is, will she overstay her welcome? She has garbage for some coverage inside of the bathroom as well. So overall, Jarrison still have the wherewithal to try and win these rounds, but Mine has to be careful with her life. Meanwhile, I thought Bear had that win, but it wasn't meant to be. Zeal will clean that up, but with a minute and 21 seconds here, Light Rose, Jarrison fan club still in very good position just due to the lack of map control that Valkyries have taken so far.
Oh, this is such a good position from Kato. Yeah, able to take
Love
down
that.
the Zofia. That is just good siege IQ at that point. Using the tools that have been given to you and just using your brain at that moment. Your brain has become a weapon. And it's crazy that Jarrison Fan Club, they're able to deny vertical position not even being on the same floor, lacking a pulse, not really using those black eyes. You can see only Meg is on those, gonna be able to give up some positions away, but in the end, it is all up to the vertical play that they've given themselves and just kind of what they have in their own brains. And Kato,
Attackers have dropped the bomb
her brain
diffuser.
is huge. You can see finding Psyche, only Zeal left just above 50 HP. Diffuser not in their hands.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Something crazy's about to happen, or else we are going to see Jarrison Fan Club win this Villa match.
15 seconds left.
15 seconds remain, and Zeal has sent it back down into Laundry. All of the hopes of Valkyries lie on her, and well, the crossfires have been established. She won't even pick up one before being felled by that P10 Brody. The GGs come out in chat for our final game of the day, and it's going to be Jarrison Fan Club, co-owned by Jazzman and Harrison Crowbroder, by the way. Well, they're going to find that win there. Very good play from them throughout the whole play day, really. And you get to stare at our faces one last time. 7-2 victory there for Jarrison, and it wasn't really in doubt there.
Yeah, I'm sure the owners are very happy after their first successful win under the new name, under the new, you see the wonderful faces of Jarrison Fan Club. But Valkyries, there were signs where they had it definitely in them. The ability to come back after those first 3 rounds is really, I think, unprecedented because that takes a lot of willpower to come back that hard, take those really, really close rounds after what felt like such a crushing trio of rounds that it sucks that they weren't able to string together enough to really contend for the match. But in the end, Jarrison Fan Club definitely showed that no matter who they're called, they're still able to put up a hell of a fight.
100%, and that also allows Jarrison Fan Club to start climbing up our standings. Obviously, you were talking about earlier in this game or even in the pre-show how you can't afford to be losing games at this point of the season, right? You need to keep yourself inside of playoff contention, and with Jarrison finding wins 2 weeks in a row, that is absolutely huge for them. Meanwhile, Valkyries, again, you've got to start the soul searching right now. I think now is the appropriate time to start hitting the panic button a little bit because You've got to start winning games, otherwise you're going to find yourselves at the bottom of the standings very quickly.
And I'm find myself wondering with the coaching of Crow, is Jarrison fan club, possibly
Are they a dark
possibly
horse?
yeah, looking to find a top spot, some great new coaches coming out, some casting, coaching. What can't they do at this point?
I mean, Adam and Harrison are just like, they're just the
They're
giganticest
the
of
PR.
gigantic brains. I mean, 100%, right? You can see it in their logo. Just look at those foreheads. Look at Adam's forehead in that. Look at the amount of space that the bowl
Look,
haircut has to cover for
Jazz
Harrison.
has got clout. He's the official Beast Coast social media
That's
manager.
true. 100%. And obviously, Harrison is a Challenger League caster. So, I mean, they carry a bunch of clout and they're, now they're co-owners of an Eris team. I think that's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's clout. Something that we don't really have that much.
You have a blue Liquipedia page. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
coming
well,
from you.
you also have like 4 times as many Twitter followers. But this is not a clout war. It's not a clout war, obviously, because I would win. But
I still have so much love for you, Light Rose, and you're taking away from
that
it.
is going to be it for tonight. We have had a whole bunch of matches. Santos has been here for all of them. I will save you the spiel because you have been talking your little butt off all night. I'm sure it's getting definitely some tired, but thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We saw some great matches, some close ones, some possibly one-sided matches, but in the end, that is another Eris Playday off the books. We're inching closer and closer to playoffs and the eventual grand finals. I think we're just over a month away from those, and it's going to be a very, very exciting couple of weeks as we start to whittle down the competition. But I am Light Rose, and of course, to my left is the wonderful Santos. We thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you next week. Goodbye now.